level rises, and you can see where villages were. You can see cemeteries that have been washed away because the water's come
Well, we've
up.
seen them in the Solomons.
That's what I'm saying, like in all those sort of places. But it's interesting because why are we not seeing the same commensurate rises in Australia? Why is it that there are countries like the Pacific that you actually physically
Good question.
see that happening? And I think that's what makes it challenging, because you go, oh yes, it's happening in the Pacific. Everyone knows the Pacific is a developing countries. They're poor anyway, so when you hear about their struggles and those challenges, and even though they're saying the water's rising, it's people don't really take it seriously. But I just wonder, what is it in that sort of, is it geographical, or I don't know what you call it, oceanography, whatever it is
That's something for us to look up, because I'm not 100% sure myself. Because I know that when the sea level rises, different areas seems to rise
faster
more than other areas. And I don't know whether that's the rotation of the Earth.
What should be more worrying for people in Australia, though, is the fact that as our government keeps reminding us, and as we should know, the Pacific is our closest neighbour. Yeah. They're our closest neighbours. So
well, we're family. Isn't that what they said? Isn't what the government said? We're family.
Exactly right. If it's happening there, then it would mean that surely you would think that Australia is going to be one of the next, countries affected. So anyway, let's look it up and see why do sea level
Well, I think a lot of it
rises
is like low-lying countries too. I mean, it doesn't matter where you are, in the Indian Ocean in Bangladesh or the Pacific Ocean, Kiribati, doesn't really matter. If you're a very low-lying area, particularly if you're an island, an atoll, you're going to get hammered.
Anyway.
But that's something to look into. Good
research.
question, babe. All right. Yes, so back to the article by Robert, what was his name, Robert? Jeez, Robert Hunziker. That's right. Yeah. So he was telling us that people who are living in the cities don't really see the loss, the death, slow death of an ecosystem. And nothing is normal anymore. And he goes on to say, interestingly, emails from readers of my articles address these unprecedented climate events, and occasionally somebody with an advanced degree in science or engineering, or who works for a high-profile institution. One such email from someone who does work for one of those institutions recently crossed my desk in response to an article that this Hunziker guy wrote in 2025. And he says, that email in particular struck a chord because it comes from a senior person at one of the world's most prestigious and widely recognised institutions. And as a bonus, it's a superb summation of where things stand and where civilization is headed. Now, he doesn't say who the guy is. He doesn't say what organisation he's from. But I think it's probably from NASA. I think it's this guy from NASA. But I can't be 100% sure. Anyway, Robert... What was his name? Robert, I forget his name. Anyway, he says he's publishing this email that he got from this high-level scientist at a very prestigious organisation, maybe NASA. He's got his email and he's printed it out. He's published it in its entirety. And it follows. Your latest article, as always, is excellent. I did notice an assumed subtext, and one that permeates all discussions of net carbon zero, which of course you know and have discussed before, but a fact that often stops people in their tracks during discussions of climate change and mitigating actions is the 1,000 gigaton elephant in the room. What could that be? What could that 1,000 megaton elephant in the room be? Well, Doomers, we're going to find out straight after this song. And of course, music for the end of the world is not music for the end of the world without a gimme song. And tonight, seeing as we've been talking a little bit about the melting of the Arctic and the Antarctic, here are me first in the gimme gimmes with Top of the World.
Yeah! Such a feeling's coming over me. There is
Ah, the gimmies. I love them. Fantastic. Top of the world. Me first, the gimmies. One of the best gigs we've been to. Very, very good. Okay, welcome back, peoples. You're listening to Music for the End of the World with me, Chris, and Cass. And we are talking about our ecosystems tonight. Because everyone always talks about global warming, aka climate change, which is, floods, droughts. Everyone's obsessed with that. Governments are obsessed with that. We have conferences for that. But loss of ecosystems, I think, is just as terrible and impactful. And this article I'm reading by Robert Hunziker, and he has got this email that he got from a very well-informed, distinguished scientist at a very prestigious organisation, and he's published it in its entirety here. And we just got back to this very well-esteemed scientist who is nameless. It is, of course, this particular fact when people talk about mitigating circumstances and trying to reduce CO2.
That's right. What is the elephant in the room?
Yes, the 1,000 gigaton elephant in the room.
Yep.
It is that even if we were to achieve net zero, which means we're not pumping out any CO2 in the atmosphere, babe, right? Even if we could achieve that tomorrow, that will be barely the beginning of our mitigation efforts, as the entire 200-year past atmospheric overloading is still present and will remain present for generations. That's hundreds of years, people, wreaking havoc. And we're nowhere near approaching a path towards net zero anyway. But even if that was, we've got 200 years of carbon already in the atmosphere. What are we going to do about that? It takes a long time for it to get out of the atmosphere. And one way that it gets out is going into carbon sinks, e.g.
which are not
forests.
Yep.
And as we know, the Amazon, scientists are worried now, is not a carbon sink and is actually becoming a carbon tap, I suppose. Is that the opposite of a sink? Well, it's emitting carbon, it's not absorbing carbon.
Say carbon producer or something.
Carbon producer, yeah. So that is a pretty big...
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and that's a big thing.
People don't get it.
It's a big thing to get your head around because everyone thinks, okay, if we hit these targets,
if we just got down to... Yeah.
But that's right. It's still, it means that, yes, okay, it's better than continuing to increase, but it certainly doesn't mean that things go back to normal. As you said, the damage is done and it's going to take a long time to bring things back to equilibrium.
That's right. And so this very prestigious scientist goes on writing to Robert saying that removing already released atmospheric carbon is thousands of times more difficult than removing it at the source or eliminating the source. E.g., getting rid of cars, for example. Getting rid of anything that produces CO2. As you have extensively, this is what he's saying to Robert, and excellently discussed, despite what the fossil fuel cartels would have us believe, of course. Well, we know that those Exxon and those guys, they knew back in the 60s, maybe in the 50s even, I'm not sure, what CO2 did to the atmosphere, how it collected, how it was a contributor to global warming. They knew all that, and they've kept it hidden. Yeah. So this scientist goes on to write, when is it time to say game over and admit that neoliberal political systems that have metastastically overtaken most governments of the planet have no impetus to, nor intention to, or stopping the growth forever economic model that has doomed us? Because that's what it comes down to, basically. It's questioning our system. And the leaders, particularly the billionaires, man, now over in the US, they don't want people to think like that. Because that raises a whole bunch of other questions.
Absolutely not. It's about
billionaires. What are they good for?
Economy, money is what they sort of try and spin it as. And
they just want more wealth.
Yep.
How greedy can you be? 1 billion, and you want more. Like, it's insane. And I don't think people really, we were talking about they don't really get the exponential function. That's true. And also, I don't think people really realise the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. Lots of millionaires around the world, multi-millionaires around the world. I mean, Dutton's worth about 300 billion, I read the other day. Heaps of millionaires around the world. But billionaires. And you think, okay, fair enough, you worked hard, oh, you were lucky, oh, blah, blah, blah. You deserve all your millions of dollars. But billions.
Well, you can't even, the whole thing.
Have you heard that?
But you don't even comprehend it. So when people say a billionaire, it's a term, but you don't even,
Have you heard that analogy? If seconds, 1 million seconds, I think is about, what was 1 million seconds? I think it was like, it wasn't much. It was either 7 days or even less. It wasn't much. But 1 billion seconds is like 31.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I think 1 million seconds is about a week, and 1 billion is almost 32 years. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why should anyone be worth that much? Yeah, I read a story saying that Elon Musk wants to be the first trillionaire. That's his goal.
Yeah, that's right. What on earth does that mean? That's that's.
I know.
Mega millions.
I know. Yep. Anyway, this scientist goes on to say, I believe the time is now to admit the bleeding obvious. That we've destroyed the climate in which we as a species, and most other species, of course, let's not forget that, have evolved and have sent the atmosphere hurtling someplace else. Most likely something resembling the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum of 55 million years ago, before humans were around, where no terrestrial creature bigger than a poodle survived, and the only habitable continent was Antarctica. And that was with the ease of transition over several million years, not 200 like we're doing now. A luxury that current Earth biosystems won't have. Because when change happens over a long time, that's what evolution's about, babe, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Things
environments
can move with the times.
Flora and fauna have a chance to be able to adapt, mutate and adapt. Yeah. Apparently, our rate of CO2 contamination outstrips the lead up to that Paleo-Eocene thermal maximum of 55 million years ago by several orders of magnitude. So humanity's efforts seem to be effectively tripping all the greenhouse Earth tipping points simultaneously and with breathtaking speed. So, definitely not good news.
No, but I suppose when you're talking about that too, you then have to then think, so what does that mean? What does that mean for people? And part of that then is, as you've talked about, is one, acknowledge, which is like what Just
you've got to acknowledge it first.
Acknowledge the actual predicament that we are in, and then to, you, as you said, it wouldn't matter what we did as humans at this point in time, you cannot reverse the damage which has been done. So it's a thing of how do you then try and make the world and life more livable for longer for more people.
That's right. As Just Collapse say, collapse is inevitable, but justice is not. We can try and make it a little bit fair as we go out. As we go over, I should say. Out or over. Over and out, baby. That's what it is. Yep. And hopefully I'll be talking to Tristan and Kate from Just Collapse soon, which I will be broadcasting on the radio. If I pull my finger out, which I will. Okay. Some more music, babe. Anything particular you would like to hear? What have we got? Well, we've got a few things. Oh, I got some more Biba Doobie from last week. I really like Biba Doobie. I'd never heard of her before. I thought she was pretty cool.
Yeah, but Biba Doobie's hit. There is one song that I didn't actually realise.
I think we played last week.
Biba Doobie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it is, but she's more well known than you think. But I like the other songs. Put a different one on.
Okay, well, let's have Biba Doobie with The Way Things Go. We might play two songs at once. Then I can make coffee. The Way Things Go by Biba Doobie, and then another band I really like, Rainbow Kitten, called It's Called Freedom. But first up, Beaver Doobie, people.
And there's so much left to say. I guess I'm just the bigger guy. And there's too much on my mind that I don't even want to try. Guess it's not far from the ordinary. They do say love is blind, but I guess that's the way things go. Can't remember how to say your name, let alone count all the freckles on your face. A distant memory I used to know. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Can't remember when you said you called, miles away and it was still my fault. The love you said you had is sometimes showed. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. There's so much left to say. I guess I'm just a bigger guy. And there's too much on my mind that I don't even want to try. Guess it's not far from the ordinary. They do say love is blind, but I guess that's the way things go. Didn't think you'd ever stoop so low, getting with the only girl you know. A lousy route that only makes me sad. That's pretty lame, and that's the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Past your house when I was on a train. In my mind you'll always stay the same. I'm happy now, I ought to let you know, but I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. And I don't mind that that's the way things go. And I don't mind, 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 I don't mind. Oh, I guess that's just the way things go. Oh, I guess that's the way things go.
God to the devil and the devil did come. Said to the devil, devil, do you like drums? Do you like cigarettes, dominoes, rum? He said only sundown Sundays, Christmas Sundays, and when I need a few friends. Now and again I can never hope to keep them. Thought to give friends what I thought that they wanted. Never had they needed a good friend as I've been. Don't get me venting on friends who resent you, cause all you've ever done is been a noose to hang on to. They thought was a necklace and reckless. They fell into hell where you both hang with nothing to do but scratch, kick, let gravity win like fall. This, let gravity win like you could leave it all behind. Even the devil need time alone sometimes. You could let it all go. You could let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. Called to the devil and the devil said quit. Can't be bothered, better handle your shit. Keep about your wrist, man, keep about your wrist. Know yourself and who you came in with. Can I sit down? I've been hustling all day. I can't even count how many souls I made off the same deal you wrong. Remember, the devil ain't afraid of no one, but find true when you can let it all go. You can let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. Called to the devil and the devil say, hey, why you been calling this late? It's like 2 a.m. and the bars all closed. See, 10 in hell, it's a rule I made. Anyway, you say you're too busy saving everybody else to save yourself, and you don't want no help. Oh well, that's a story to tell. Like you can let it all go. You can let it all go. It's called free fall. It's called free fall. You can let it all go. You can let it all go. free but falling out. That shit's easy, let me show you how it's like. But falling out, that shit's easy, let me show you how it's like.
Rainbow Kitten with It's Called Free Fall. I said freedom, I didn't have my glasses on. It's called Free Fall. That's the title of Rainbow Kitten's song. And before that, of course, we had Beaver Doobie with The Way Things Go. And that is how it is. It is the way things go. Billionaires get elected to govern us for their interests, all sorts of things. You're listening to 93.7 Edge FM here in the Bega Valley, God's own country. And it's lovely and green at the moment, but I think it should be time for a couple more of our lovely sponsor announcements.
We have 50,000 reasons why you should show some love to your garden, so visit Irrigear today. You could win $50,000. Irrigear has a great range of Hunter irrigation products. With an automated Hunter irrigation controller, you can save money, time and water without any hassle. Wouldn't you love to win $50,000 and grow the garden you've always wanted with Hunter? It's time to win here at Irrigear. Irrigear. New South Wales Authority number TPO 3665. Visit irrigear.com.au/win here for full terms and conditions. Purchase required to enter.
Bega Irrigation, Bearings and Motors Supplies are a proud sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
Better Home Living Bega is the only place to shop for all your electrical appliances. With a huge showroom boasting a great range of white goods, televisions, small appliances and a fantastic cooking showroom with all the big brands. Plus, they're also an Apple reseller and Weber barbecue specialist and a J-Car stockist. Call in and see the experienced staff or shop online at better.com.au. Better Home Living Bega, 95 Auckland Street Bega, proud sponsors of Edge FM.
Thank you very much, dear sponsors. Terrific people. Make sure you show them your patronage, peeps, if you're down here in the Bega Valley. Now, I need to clarify something. I was mistaken about the seconds. A million seconds. My brain trust has just sent me through some information. Thanks, Steve. You're on the ball, buddy. A million seconds is 12 days, babe. I think I said 7.
7.
I was mistaken. And a billion seconds is 31 years. I do believe it's 31.4 or something, but we'll take 31 years. Thanks, Steve. And a trillion seconds is 31,688 years.
Wow.
So there's the difference, people. Millionaires, billionaires, and Musk hoping to be the first trillionaire. As I always say, billionaires, what are they good for? Absolutely nothing. That's how it is. I was mistaken about some of that because my memory's not the best. But I'm not mistaken about some things such as it's the end of the world as we know it, baby. Unfortunately, wouldn't it be nice if I could say I was mistaken about that? That would be so good. But I'm not. Okay, getting on with this unnamed but very distinguished scientist from a very prestigious organisation. We think it's NASA. His letter to Robert Hunziker. He continues on saying that it has been said, and I don't have the attribution from where, that the greatest, this is interesting, babe, we were just talking about this, the greatest intellectual failing of mankind is not to be able to comprehend the mathematical implications of the exponential function.
It's true.
It is true.
Because I think if people actually realise, if it was sort of laid out to you in common terms and you realised...
Rather than blabbing on about,
were.
by 2030 will be this level and 2050 will be 0 and blah, 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 blah. Exponential function, baby. That's right. It is in my own corollary aphorism that the second scariest place to live is to the left of an exponential knee. That's where the curve starts going the other way. The scariest place, of course, is
But
to...
you're saying, so the exponential curve,
Well,
it goes
It's
up.
going up.
And then it
and then,
comes
of course, the only conclusion to that, of course, is a very rapid
Well,
down.
Except if it was an infinite.
yes. But we know it's not. We know that things will run out, fall, stop working, stop breathing. And he says the scariest place to be, of course, is situated to the right of the exponential knee, because that means you're right over the cliff, baby, going down. And here we are at the former, just before the lip, staring blankly at our soon-to-be living place in the latter. He goes on to write that there probably was a point in the 80s, soon after Jim Hansen, who's that very famous climate scientist, I've quoted him many times here, made his famous plea to Congress when, with dramatic action, we could have turned the ocean liner around, but no action, aside from grossly exacerbating actions, has been taken. And from any rational engineering perspective, it's game over. The current CO2 loading is sending us to a bad place, and there is nothing even remotely on the political economic horizon that will mitigate the trends. And there is really nothing within our power to stop it in any case. You can't pull the CO2 and methane back. The Earth herself is refusing to extract any more for us or absorb any more heat either, as we were talking about carbon sinks before, babe. And it is beginning to vomit it all back to us with considerable interest on the principle to boot. It's game over, he writes.
So what year was that? What year is that letter?
This was just...
like recently, like
yeah,
24, 25?
2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, again, what I find interesting in that sort of space is absolutely appreciate that the journalist is protecting their source. The source doesn't want to be named. But at what point are people prepared to stand up and put their names forward and to actually say this is, because what he's saying is very interesting and it's very impactful and it could make a lot of people think differently, but...
Well, it's like last night we were watching 7:30 Report, I think, and the new
CSR,
chief scientist, the new chief scientist came on, was talking to that woman on 7:30.
7:30, yeah.
And he was asked a few questions which he didn't really answer.
Yeah, that's right. And you could feel that he
and
had
you could
the
feel that he
answers,
knew, but he couldn't come out
wouldn't
and say it.
Yeah.
He couldn't come, or he dared not come out and say it. And well, I mean, all you got to look at is that people who have Jim Hansen, for example, he's been blacklisted many places. Bill Rees has been ridiculed and personally threatened. You know, the father of our ecological footprint. A whole bunch of people. So if if you've got a job, you need money because you've got a mortgage, you've got to feed your family. Maybe you're doing some research, you don't want to lose the funding, and you're a scientist and you come out and actually tell the truth about the reality of what's happening, you increase the risk of having the rug ripped out from under you. But this scientist goes on to say, I see a couple of benefits of making this admission that it's over. First, it's probably true. Second, there's a certain fairness to encouraging people to ponder the likely future. And that's what it's all about. That's what Just Collapse is about. It's about getting people conscious, aware, collapse aware. There's a famous airliner disaster of United Airlines Flight 232 in 1989, which crashed on emergency landing in Sioux City, Iowa, killing roughly a third of the 300 passengers aboard. It was miraculous that anyone survived. Anyway, this flight, he goes on to say, works as a parable on a number of levels. From the standpoint of an undetected manufacturing defect in the blades of the fan jet engine to the absolute bonehead engineering mistake in the design of its air surface control line routings. But mostly it's a parable on how Captain Al Haynes let the passengers know what they were about to experience. So, in short, the fan blade and the tail engine failed, sending shrapnel through the tail section. In particular, one piece went through the primary, secondary, and even tertiary backup hydraulic lines. So all control surface hydraulic fluid drained. So Captain Haynes had no control of his wing or tail air surface controls. But through some of the most magnificent flying art in the history of aviation, the Captain Haynes used only throttle controls of the 2 remaining engines. He managed to maintain a tiny measure of control of the aircraft and bring it into within fighting distance of a landing at Sioux City. And as he approached the runway at just below cruising speed, that's about 500 miles an hour, because he had to keep the nose up, that's the lowest speed he could go at, he announced to the passengers that they were going to attempt something that had never been attempted before, a landing at nearly cruising speed. And with about a minute to go before the event, he told them that this is not going to be a landing, people. This is going to be a crash. This is going to be the very worst thing you've ever experienced. I just want you to prepare yourself. That's the captain coming over the intercom telling people. And that's what we need. People need to know the truth. They need to know it, because otherwise you're just living in a delusion, like in the Matrix. And it's game over. Like this scientist says, it's game over. There is going to be a crash. And it's going to be the very worst thing that mankind has ever experienced. And we need to prepare ourselves. Many, perhaps most, will not survive. Quite possibly there'll be no human survivors. Our high-level technical civilization, with all of its delicately intertwined technical, economic, materials, sociological channels and intricacies, will almost certainly not survive. And we're going to take much of the biosphere with us. It's already happening. The 6th great extinction is underway and happening before our very eyes. So people need to be able to make critical life decisions with clear-eyed focus on what is likely to happen within many of our lifetimes. You know, for example, about bringing more humans into the world, about selecting careers that serve their own interests versus that of the destroying powers that be, or that builds upon the human intellectual edifice that seems doomed to be a monument to an extinct species.
Well, it's also simple life choices too, about where do you want to live and what do you want to be doing.
Exactly.
And what kind of
That's
quality
right.
of life do you want to have apart from...
That's right. It's like being diagnosed with a terminal illness, you know?
Yeah.
And
you go,
have
would you
8
prefer
months
to be
to live.
told, or
Would you prefer to be told or not to be told?
Not to be told. Yep. And make decisions based on...
I would prefer to be told, so you know, at least know what's happening. So you say, okay, well, I'll be spending most of my time with the people that I love, that's for sure. I think most people would probably be in the same. But of course, it is in the interests of the powers that be, who will continue and accelerate their raping and pillaging of the rest of us and the biosphere for their own narrow self-interest, to demand perpetual and accelerating growth. Perpetual war, more human flesh for cannon fodder, slave wage minions, and most of all, perpetual, huge, obscene profits. It is in their interests to make us believe that they have the power to save us all, but they don't. They only have the power to make things much, much worse, which is what they are doing. The billionaire class. They'll continue to bask in their obese luxury until the very end, unless the rest of us rise up to stop them and try desperately to create conditions for some sort of survival, which will be impossible with them continuing to be in charge. But in order to know that such uprising is necessary, it has to become part of the public consciousness, the zeitgeist, as I was talking about last week, babe. The zeitgeist needs to know that humanity is about to crash in a very hard and grisly fashion. Technology and the tech bros won't save us. That's how we got into this mess in the first place. The combustion engine. They've wounded us. They don't help us. People must become aware and morally outraged about that fact. So that was a letter that Robert Hunziker got from this scientist, unnamed scientist. Very distinguished, high-ranking in a prestigious organisation. But wouldn't put his name to it, as many of them don't. So that's basically the problem, really, isn't it? Recognising the ecological overshoot, which is changing the pursuit of limitless growth, basically. That's it. All right, well, people, we have come to the end of another Music for the End of the World on 93.7 Edge FM. And I'll be having some guests coming in soon in the following weeks. And maybe even some live music. Again, haven't done that for a while. Right. And if you live in the Bega Valley and you would like to come in and have a chat about such things, you're you're more than welcome to. And just email the station. They'll let me know. All right, what are we going to go out with, babe? I know you wanted to do Graham Bonnet. All right. I'll play this other one next week. So here's one Cass has chosen. She only chooses one song a week. Well, she only chose one this week.
I choose more than that, but this week I just chose one.
You just chose one. Warm Ride by Graham Bonnet. And as I always say, as Just Collapse always says them, please look them up. They're down in Tasmania. They have great resources and just they're much more eloquent than I am. Collapse is inevitable as more and more people are coming to the realisation. But justice is not. And as we can see the world becoming more unjust by the day, just look at Elon Musk and Trump and his billionaire mates. Just look at Gaza, look at Ukraine, everywhere. We still can fight for justice in a planet emergency. I shouldn't say emergency, catastrophe. Emergency implies you can do something about the emergency and stop it. But we can't. We can only try and make it a little bit fairer on our way down. So good night, peeps. See you next week. Here is Graham Bonnet. It's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from
Cass.
Thank you, darling.
Evening, everyone.
Warm Ride, Graham Bonnet. And thanks, Steve, for the info, bro.
Changing your direction every step of the way. I bring emotion and I bring desire and I bring a potion to set you on fire. I know you need me, there can be no doubt. You got me held inside your love and I can't get out. We must surrender to the powers that be, the angel in you and the devil in me. Two of a kind, and we both know what's coming. We got one thing in mind. I'll give the pleasure, satisfaction you learn, and I got the strength to make you burn, burn, burn. Warm ride, baby, that's the way you are. Warm ride, we can reach the highest star. Why are we waiting for this love on the rise? Why am I searching for the magic? It's in your eyes. We must surrender to the powers that be, the angel in you and the devil in me. Warm ride, baby, that's the way you are. It's just the way. The highest star. Warm ride, baby, that's the way you are. The way you are. Warm ride, we can reach the highest star. Reach the highest star.